Aloha, soul friends and family. This is going to be an interesting live. I've been wanting to share about this, and I just got the inspiration to bring this perspective forward for a good reason. So I was in a class full of acupuncturists a few weeks ago, and a lot of them were human design people. And the one thing for me about the Zoom classes that I really don't really like is how the chat pops up, because I don't really care what people have to say. And I notice it's kind of like they've set it up so it's like talking while the teacher's talking. I don't want to hear what people have to say. I invested this money in myself to hear what this teacher had to say, not your, whoever other class participants, like, I do this and I do that. I just don't care. But it was a lot of human design chatter in the background. And this was a class about using acupuncture to be your authentic self. Hi Chilla. Hi Pam. So we're not just going to take this to human design, okay? But it just happened to be the example and the thing that really started to help me to realize I need to speak about this. Okay. So when you look for yourself, right, through an archetypal system, that system is not meant to put you in a box. And what I find is that most people put them into a box. They put themselves into a box. Into that box of that archetypal system that may have been channeled by who? Right? So we don't really know the channel. We don't know them personally. We don't know what's really going on with them. So we have to take everything that channel has said with a grain of salt, because their perspective may not actually fit. It may not actually help us be aligned. So most people are getting stuck in a box. So I thought, how interesting is it that I'm having this class talking about how to use acupuncture to really developing treatments to help people become their authentic selves. Meanwhile, all these people are talking about human design and they're in a box. They've boxed themselves in. I am this, so I can only do this. Right? So, and then on the other side, I hear people say, well, I'm sovereign. And then on the other side of their mouth, I hear them say, oh, well, I'm a Pisces and I can't do this, because I'm a Pisces, this is this. This is not what we are meant to be doing with this information. We're meant to take this information in and digest it a little bit and see if it's truth for us. But it is not about putting ourselves in a box. So basically, that's why I said I'm gonna embody Saturn and Aquarius today, right? I'm gonna take that Aquarian energy and I'm gonna help you break through some structures and get on task, right? With a lot of Sagittarian fire, kind of like driving this forward. So how can you be your authentic self if you are stuck in an archetypal system of defining yourself? You can't. You have to transcend that system. You absolutely have to transcend that system. You have to digest it. You have to say, you can't operate in the way, in that box that system is putting you in. So even for myself, yes, the system, right, that I've spent the most time looking at is Chinese medicine, different aspects of Chinese medicine, but I do not let the buck stop there. I still go beyond that system because I refuse to let that system box me in or box anyone else in. Because at some point you have to integrate everything you've learned and then transcend. But most people, what they're doing is they're doing this kind of robotic, like, I am this and this is the way it should be. It doesn't work. You will either spend your life that way, never coming to your authentic self, following the channel of some other person, which I will tell you is idol worship. It is another version of idol worship. So you're worshiping someone else's perspective and living through it. You're embodying that perspective. So I don't care who it is. I don't care how clear, how coherent, how wonderful, how pure this person feels. you will lock yourself in a box. You will never find yourself. You'll never come to your true, authentic self. So for me, I'm going to give you this perspective. Most people don't realize how this is all set up. And when we look at the astrological wheel, it became very clear to me. You have all these astrological signs and houses, and we have the planets, and they're all ruled by these, different, we could say, gods, right? Well, when you are sitting there saying, well, I'm in this house and mostly in this house, and I am, let's say, I maybe have a lot of Jupiter energy in the first house, and so then that's connected to Zeus. And then so what you're doing, if you're saying I'm supposed to be like this, is you're a patron of Zeus, and you're locked into idol worship to that energy unconsciously. You don't even realize it. Where I look at it and I say, nope, these are all tools I can use. I can use Jupiter as a tool. I can use Saturn as a tool. I can use Leo as a tool, Scorpio as a tool. They are tools that I can use as a human because all of that energy makes up me. So whatever feels aligned for the day, I get to say, maybe I need to choose from, maybe it's not even a planet. Maybe I'm going to use hibiscus energy. Maybe I'm going to use the Moki Hana, right? And Herkimer Diamond. Maybe. It depends on what I feel is aligned for me in that day to help me embody the truth of myself. That's it. So I invite you, if you are looking at different archetypal systems, whether it be gene keys or human design or astrology or 5 elements or even the Ayurvedic doshas, whatever system you are, that lens you're looking at yourself through, realize that you want to come from the perspective of like, oh, that's interesting to know that. But we are here as humans because all of that universal energy is available to us, even though we have a unique design. Everyone wants to know that you're a unique design. I'm telling you, if you look back at your life and through your life, from, we could say, the transcending the wound, coming into wisdom perspective and becoming soul aligned energetically, you will find who you are. And you will find that there are different moments that different, we could say, different ways of being come through you, right? So now you can hear, right? You can hear the fire coming through. You can hear it coming through as I'm speaking, because it's very important, because most people are thinking that they are sovereign, that they are on the authentic path by following these things, and the truth is they're not. That's the truth. So we have to move beyond that. We have to stop getting stuck in these places, thinking that they're helping us. Because again, anyone who channeled anything, even myself, I'm just a person. I have my experience. I have my perspective. That perspective might not help you come to your authentic self, and that's okay. You have to digest. You have to process. You have to start to bring yourself to this understanding and integration. It's about integration. For me, it's about integration and alignment. And for me to sit there and get stuck in a system will not help me integrate. What I will do is become someone who has worshipped this system and the person who created it. I'm not interested. Not interested at all. So we need to start moving in this way to understand that these energies are for us to utilize because we are creator beings. These are not energies to tell us what to do or how to be. We are creator beings. We get to use all the creative elements, hi Felicia, in the universe to help us live in this realm. Now I know that a lot of things have been, we could say, a lot of infiltration on our system to separate us from being in the alignment that's required to utilize these elements. But when you break everything down, I mentioned, Saturn, right, is cold. Saturn is very yin. Saturn is a very yin element. It's cold, has cold energy, right? Jupiter is opposite, has hot energy. It's very expansive. So instead of getting lost in the idolatry of planets and zodiac and all that, break it down. Break it down to its most simplest element, and then you can use that element with the flavor, right? It comes through. That I would call so if you're using the cold of Saturn, the Saturn gives it a flavor, right? As opposed to, the cold of the deepest depths of the ocean. That gives it a different flavor. That cold has a little different flavor or essence to it. But at its base, it's cold. It's cold, it's constrictive, it's yin. So, not about getting locked in a box of a system. We need to transcend these systems, because the other thing is, we know that some of these systems are beneficial, but we also know they're detrimental, right? Because we're living in a world of duality. So use them to your benefit by helping you transcend. You want to transcend the design you were born through. It's just a starting point. It gives you some idea, right? Some idea. And then if you look at multiple systems, so even in astrology, we can look at tropical, we can look at sidereal, we can look at Hellenistic, we could look at alchemical astrology, we can look at all these different Vedic astrology, which is a little bit different than sidereal. We can look at all those things, and you'll see my Vedic chart is very different from my tropical chart. Very different. It brings me more into water element and out of fire element. Brings me much more water element than fire element. So then really it's about choice, right? It's about, well, this rings more true for me. Okay, great. You know what? It rings true for me maybe today, but tomorrow I might be air element. I might decide to be earth element. I might, if I'm going to follow Chinese medicine, decide to be a little bit more woody. I get to choose. It's not about the world choosing for me or some system choosing for me. So I hope that's helpful. And really, if you want to look at imbalances, right? If we want to see, you have to go, so I had an interesting experience with acupuncture treatment once where someone asked me about being grounded. And I said, well, what does that mean? What does being grounded mean? And I really put her to task, because what's happening is that person is reading me through their energy field and their design. But what is grounded for my design? What is grounded for my energy currently today? What is my decision on how I want to be grounded? What does grounding even mean? So you have to watch that, because people will try to look at you and they can only look at you from what they've integrated so far. Meaning, if they haven't integrated an understanding about grounding, they're not going to be able to know, they're not going to be able to discern, right? Oh, that level of grounding is actually appropriate for that person, right? And to know what grounding elements are and what that means. There are different ways to look at grounding. Can you clearly communicate? That's a grounded person. Can you pay your bills on time? That's a grounded person. Can you be present? That's a grounded person, right? That's a grounded expression. I'm going to change that from person to expression. That's a grounded expression. Is that person focused? That's a grounded expression. Some days you're not meant to have that kind of focus. Some days you need to be more dreamy, more out in the ethers. Sometimes you need that. That's what you need to be in balance for that day. So again, don't get locked in to systems and designs. You are more than that. And if you keep yourself locked in there, you will not find the more. You will not find your authentic self. So I I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share below. Lots of joy and aloha. Bye.